In this video, we're going to do a little bit more work on the body of the Moke. I've got some high build primer. I'm going to have a play with that and just see what grit scratches left over from the sanding grats it's actually able to feel. All right, with the high build primer, I've picked up this can here, Concept Paints Primer Filler. I'm going to give that a go. With the bonnet, I've given that a coat of primer, standard epoxy primer, just to sort of see how it handles some of the imperfections on there. So it's had about 3 coats, and any small imperfections, it does actually still fill it. This still needs to be given a sand down. I've also done all of the other panel pieces too. Most of these are, or some of them are replacement parts, like this battery cover here, and so there's no imperfections on there. The panel was just painted as is. There's a few bits of dust in there too, but that can be sorted. So with the filler on these, some spots are not perfect. They still probably need a bit more filler. The actual inside of the actual tray, it seems okay, but it's not 100% perfect. Like the more time you spend on it, the better it will be. It's just getting that balance right. All right, so I've given this can a good shake up. I'm just going to try it on this area here. These bits were only done down to 80 grit. That one's done down to 240. But I'll just try it and just see how well it works. Just one tip here. I've got like an old pair of glasses which I wear when I do the painting. That way I'm not ruining my good pair. Alright, so on this section here, I'm just going to go over one part of it with just go up a grade in paper. Just to see if it fills in some of the scratches a bit better. So that was done with an 80 grit, and I'm just going up to 180 now. I'll just give that a moment to dry. Alright, just having a close-up look at this, so you can sort of see there are sanding scratches here, here and here, and then again over at the back there's quite a few, and a few little tiny pinholes too. It'll be interesting to see whether it can fill that. So we'll give that a bit of primer and then just see how it goes. I'll just let that flash off for a bit, and then I'll just put another coat on. Alright, so when you hold the light at an angle, I'll just see if I can get this on camera. There's quite a lot of imperfections on there. This bit here still needs to be sanded. There's lots of pinholes on it, and this part here definitely needs a bit more sand, and probably needs a bit of filler on that spot just there too. Alright, so that's had 3 coats of high build primer, so I'll sand that down to 320 and then just see how it looks. Alright, so after a bit of a sand down, you can sort of see you're getting pink coming through here because it's gone back down to the layer of filler, so there's a high spot there that needs to be fixed up, but all of this, it still needs to be, I'll go back to 80 grit on here, start again. Sort of just goes to show it, things look okay, and even if you run your hand on it, you don't necessarily feel all of these. But as soon as you put a layer of paint on it, make everything uniform, the same colour, that's when these imperfections show up. And then putting the light at an angle, I've just got it sitting there at an angle, it makes all of these imperfections show up a lot more. And then if that was a painted panel, in daylight, when you've got the light shining on it, all of that would show up. All right, so a little bit more filling work to be done on here. So let me just get started on that, and then we'll see how I just quickly, with the bonnet, just before I pack all the camera away and do some more sanding and filling, I went over that with the 320, and any bits of dust that were in the primer, it's got rid of them. It really does feel nice and smooth. There will still be some minor imperfections, but it's the case of, do I just live with that? Or do I put a bit more effort into it? Alright, so the bonnet, I'll put this away for now, and then when I'm doing the epoxy primer, I'll get it back out again. There's some spots here at the front, it might just need a bit more paint. Alright, so what we've done so far, I've put some more of the high build primer on here, given that a sand down, I think with 320, and then applied some epoxy primer over the top, just so I can sort of see if there's any compatibility issues, but there's no shrink back or anything happening on there yet, so that's good. Another way to test it is obviously if you just rub thinners on there, and if it's going to react with the primers, you know there's a problem. The other thing as well, I've put the high build primer in any spot which I had filler on, so some on here, and then of course the actual tray. The advantage of having it all in just one uniform colour, you can sort of pick up and see any imperfections. So there will be some imperfections I'll need to fix up on that before we just cover the whole thing with epoxy primer. Also in the internal section over here, I need to just add that filler high build primer on there just to see how that goes. And then there's a scrape here I've got to fill that in. All right, and there we have it. We've finally got the Moke covered in epoxy primer. It's been given 3 coats. Underneath it's had a couple of coats, but on the body it's had 3. It's turned out all right. Not too much dust in it. I thought I'd get a lot more dust. There's a few spots where I've got runs, but it's the primer, so it's going to get sanded anyway. One thing I found painting inside like the compartments, painting inside the compartments like in here and then on the other side as well, it is a bit tricky, but I've turned up the air pressure a fair bit and then it just blasts paint in there. I do have a smaller paint gun, a touch-up paint gun, which I may try when I'm doing the final coat. Try using that to see if that's easier to get into the gaps and to fit the whole thing in there. Because there's some parts that's just really fiddly to actually get the spray gun in there. So I'll just give you a quick walk around. There's a few spots there I'll miss with the filler too, so I'm going to need to go over those. But majority of it is okay. Have a look inside. Yeah, so again, I just mentioned like in these compartments here, it's just really difficult to get the spray gun in there to get an even coverage. You can sort of still see greyish near these bottom edges here, but that's all right. There's still, the grey underneath is etch primer anyway, so that's fine. Right, the tray is looking good. There's a few spots on there which if I could spend the time and effort to fix up, I would, but I probably will just do the noticeable bits. Side panel here, there's a few spots on there too. If I put it, you'll see the reflection on there. I may go over that, I may not. These bits here, they're spot welds, and that's why it looks like there's a dent, but it's not. They're the spot welds, and that'll just stay like that. Again, here you can sort of see the spot welds. All right, so it's taken a long time to get it to this stage, but we're finally getting towards the home stretch. All right, so I'll leave it there, and thanks for watching my videos.